Whether you've played this game for 10 years or 10 days, we've all had this experience. You're playing League, you're trying your best, but your top laner has decided that because they lost a 1v1 to their laner, they will now be tilted for the rest of the game and run it down over and over again. There's nothing you can do about this. This is a canon event. And this truly happens to everyone. Even the 6-time world champion Faker also has to deal with this. But instead of being trolled by random tilted losers in bronze solo queue, he's actually playing in the highest rank in the game, and the guy running it down on his team is actually another pro player. Back in March of 2022, Faker was playing League of Legends live on stream like he often does, but this game was about to be different. Because he didn't know it yet, but his top laner Aatrox was about to run it down like never before. And to make matters worse, despite his name in-game being turned to leave, he was actually a professional player named Ching Tian who was actively in the LPL. Anyway, the game starts completely normal. His team even gets first blood. But 6 minutes into the game, top lane would end up getting ganked by both junglers, and a 2v2 breaks out, with Aatrox dying, but his jungler Lee Sin would end up killing the opposing top laner and the jungler, making it a 2-for-1. Objectively positive. But for some reason, Aatrox is question mark pinging Lee Sin as the fight ends, and then says, "Good E, line boom." To which the jungler responds, "Sorry." But a couple minutes later, he would go on to die again. And then another minute later, he would die once more, this time while Faker was actually watching him and judging what he was doing. But upon dying, the Aatrox typed 15 in chat, implying to surrender at 15 and go next. Now we're not going to do a play-by-play of the rest of the game, but as you can tell, it's 9 minutes into the game and Aatrox has essentially given up. He would continue to walk to lane, get into a fight, die, and do that over and over again. By the 5th death, Faker would start making some comments and reactions.
봐봐.
Then his 6th death occurs right as the team is getting 3 kills for the cost of none, and he begins the surrender vote, which Faker is surprised to see.
이건 뭐야? 너지? 역시 범인은 아트록스.
20 minutes in, Aatrox would have 0 kills and 8 deaths, and Faker would begin to complain more about the Aatrox, stating that these are the players he hates the most, but it seems Riot doesn't hate them. He then also says he will report Aatrox after the game. Well, 10 minutes later, the game would finally come to an end, and the Aatrox finished the game with a score of 0 kills and 16 deaths. Faker would then report him and move on. But while waiting for the next game, he discovers that that troll was actually another pro player, and he gets even more upset. He goes on to say, quote, "To be honest, I don't get why the Chinese pros get super accounts on the Korean server. There's probably a reason for it, but they shouldn't be able to affect the server negatively. I mean, there's so many guys that are like that right now. I've been enduring it since 2015. He later also said that he would boycott playing solo queue if he ran into another player like him again. But what Faker didn't know was that he would meet a player like him once again very soon. Because after reporting him, he queued up for another game, and his top laner in that game was the same guy. And this time, the game would be fantastic. Faker ended the game with a score of 4 kills, 0 deaths, and 4 assists, and Ching Tian ended the game with 5 kills, 1 death, and 3 assists, winning the game within 15 minutes. Maybe that's what he meant when he said 15 in the last game. And this actually made Faker even more upset, as he said, "So you just throw the game when you feel like it. I'm here trying my hardest to win every game, but you just give up when you're unhappy." Anyway, this whole situation would end up going incredibly viral. The initial Reddit post featuring the story has 18,000 upvotes and almost 2,000 comments. I think this really blew up because not only is it an interesting situation, but when it comes to Faker, he almost never says anything controversial or shares these kinds of opinions. So seeing him speak out due to getting tilted by a trolling top laner in his solo queue games is both surprising, but also very relatable to the average League of Legends experience. But on the flip side, all of this attention to this situation was terrible for Ching Tian, who was just trying to troll on the Korean server in peace, and probably never expected to get all of this awareness on his games. Though unfortunately for him, he would soon discover the consequences of intentionally feeding in Faker's games. For starters, his team, Top Esports, would make a statement apologizing for his behavior and also announced that they would deduct 1 month of his salary. And we don't know exactly what his salary was, but LPL players were very well paid during this time, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was around $10,000. Could be a lot more, but he would often play in a substitute position, and they're often paid less. But that wasn't the end of the financial punishments, because the LPL themselves also reacted to the state of affairs and revealed that for his behavior, he would be fined 50,000 Chinese yuan, which at the time was about 8,000 US dollars. Additionally, as a cherry on top, he received a 2-match suspension and his Korean account was suspended till the end of the year. It was March during that time, so it was banned for 9 months. Furthermore, Ching Tian himself would also make his own apology. He said, "I deeply realize my mistake. I am sorry. I will take every game seriously in the future." But I mean, this is the pro player equivalent of when Riot makes you type out "I understand" under that "don't be toxic" thing in the client. He got caught trolling, so now he's sorry. But if it wasn't for being caught on Faker's stream, he'd be running it down as we speak. And by the way, although this makes it seem like the only way Riot cares about pro players trolling is if they're negatively affecting Faker's games, that's not entirely true. What is true is that they do get away with this behavior all the time. But if they get caught and exposed in one way or another, it gets brought to their teams and Riot's attention, and then they face consequences. Like when it comes to financial punishments, another LPL player, SOFM, was also fined a month of his salary in 2020 for his behavior in solo queue. His case is a bit different as he was actually caught just going AFK and abandoning games instead of intentionally feeding. In the game that got him in trouble, he's playing jungle, tells someone on his team to stop pinging him, he then sells all his items and leaves the game. But here's the catch. In 2020, the LPL was paying their top talents ridiculous money, and SOFM was one of the highest paid players. During this time, there were multiple reports and rumors for his annual salary, and they were all insane, with the lowest estimation being $1.4 million and the highest report was $2.8 million. So as long as his annual pay was around that ballpark, he genuinely lost about $200,000 for intentionally trolling in solo queue. For his benefit, there's a chance that they only take a portion of that, but still a ridiculous amount of money to lose over misbehaving in a video game. Potentially the most money anyone ever has lost from playing League of Legends. So at least he gets some sort of record or something. And if you take anything positive away from this video, it's that you may never become a successful professional gamer, but at least you can run it down in your games completely for free. You might lose your account though.
Whoa, wait, I just read the date. Why does it say I've been banned until 4,713, 5 a.m.? Bro, I'm not gonna be alive.